Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
Yeah, DP lost like, beef. Yeah.
Right. Where he's wondering, he's like, I
Patty to patty.
He won style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro.
Yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show.
Or bringing Craig Council down the interstate. In a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. It is our weekly dump show. This is where you wake up every Sunday morning and we dump out whatever it is that's on our mind, our chest. It can be life, it can be movie, it can be music, it can be sports. We did our LTS fantasy draft last night. Your boy tied one off a little bit and woke up with just a smidge of a hangover, but we'll be all right. Got my big home league draft tonight is my final fantasy draft. So that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and I want to dump this out before we bring on Johnny real quick. Folks, my biggest gripe this week right now, my biggest dump, I'm going to dump this series. It's okay to say F them kids. Because for instance, my youngest is set. He'll be 7 next week. Shit. But he'll be 7, and I've taken him to school the other day, and I'm like, hey, get your stuff, blah blah blah, and we get in the car. I'm in the wait 20 minutes in the damn line, get ready to drop him off. Right before I drop him, 10 seconds before I drop him off, he goes, Dad, is my backpack up there? Your backpack up? The fuck? Why would your backpack be up here? Why is it up? Why would it be up here? You forgot your backpack? He didn't really say anything. Well, it's not back here. Rage begins to fill my body at that point in time. All right, guy, cut off the parking lot. Luckily, I don't live too far away from the school. Go back, get the backpack, drive back up to the school, wait back in line, drop them off. At that point in time, that's okay. When you're like, fuck these kids, man, fuck these kids, and then you're late for work, days. That's when it's okay to say F them kids, and it's okay to say that. Hey, he'll learn. I just told him, hey, it's not my responsibility. It's your responsibility, guy. Nonetheless, I had to get that and dump that out. But it is our weekly dump, and I'm always joined every Sunday by my main guy, Johnny Cruz.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, my man?
I am very familiar with that. Unfortunately. And just so you know that shit don't go away when they turn 8, or you're saying, or when they get a little older. That shit it's forever, people.
Bro,
so think about it when you have kids. But yes, I'm glad I'm past that phase. Now I'm in the older phase where they'll call you and saying, hey, can I borrow $50 till next week or whatever? Saying, cash at me real quick or whatever. So. It's a different type of thing, but damn, I remember that shit so well, bro. The missing or the I need this specific thing for this project on Sunday night at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and they need it for Monday morning. And it's like, you know what I'm saying?
That happened to me this week too. My daughter needed a specific notebook. I don't know. I might have told you this last week. Like she needed. I went to 3 different motherfucking stores trying to find this specific fucking notebook, man. And like I was about to lose my shit. And it's like, yeah, dang it.
Don't feel bad. You ain't the only one. But yes, there is there is a time and place to be able to say, even if you're just saying it to yourself, you just fuck them kids, because
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay to say it, man. We still love them. But it's okay.
Absolutely.
To say it. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
you love them, you can say fuck them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're still doing it, right? You're still gonna do whatever they ask you or whatever they need because you love them and they're your kids. But at the same time, you know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, you still wind up doing whatever it is that they need you to do.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But you're just damning them underneath your breath and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that's a good dump. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there feeling that shit right now.
Yeah.
Luckily they're able to hopefully enjoy an extra day off this weekend, this Labor Day weekend. So happy Labor Day to all the people out there. It could have come at a better time. I needed a 3-day weekend. So and I, like you, am feeling a little bit of a hangover from last night. Like you mentioned, we had our draft. Your boy don't drink often. And I started early. Shout out to the U. Down in Florida yesterday, so I started early, having a couple beers, watching that game, and then that shit just I had one too many last night. So I've been feeling it all morning.
You mentioned the U. I mean, they dominated Florida. We'll start with the college football landscape from this past weekend or yesterday, really. Any surprises to you? I mean, the U absolutely dominated Georgia. I mean. Hey, we talked about this, I think, before. Clemson, man, like it's time to open up the portal. 4 teams did not have any transfers in this year. Air Force, Army, Navy, and Clemson. Those are your 4 football schools in the whole FBS that didn't have a transfer. One of these things is not like the other. You know what I mean? It's time to open it up, brother. Like, Dabo, you're going to die on that hill and you're going to get fired on that hill because you're getting rolled up 34-3 by Georgia. You know, I mean, Georgia's no slouch. Like, they're you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Are they reigning champs? Right. They won last year.
No.
Oh, Michigan did. But they won.
Michigan. They won 2 in a row. Right before that, you know
but they're always constant. You know what I mean? They're in the playoffs. They're the number 1 team in the nation. They absolutely rolled. So other than Georgia, what was your takeaway from college football yesterday?
I mean, it was a fun day, college football. I mean, I expected my Hurricanes to win the game. I didn't expect them to stomp them out like that at the Swamp. I expected more of a fight. I know Florida's not the same Florida from a few years ago or whatever, but it's still an SEC school in their house to open the season. So it was nice to see. It was encouraging to see. Like I said, I'm not going to get ahead of myself like some Miami Hurricanes fans are, or the people that want to say, oh, is the U back? Like, I'm going to stick by this until I see it happen. The U is not back until they win a title. So when they win a title, then you can say the U is back. But it was a nice, convincing, dominating win, actually. I'm going to stick right there with that Georgia-Clemson one. Like, I get it. Georgia's has been a dominant program for several years now. But, bro, like, that wasn't even a game. Like, it was semi-close in the beginning only because Georgia's offense couldn't get going. Yeah. But, like, Clemson couldn't do nothing, bro. Like, nothing. Like, it was weird to see a Clemson team just get completely, you know what I'm saying, beat down like that. So, I mean, that one was, you know what I'm saying, the Notre Dame one from last night against Texas A&M was fun for a while.
That was a low-scoring game. They kind of I went to bed like about the 4th quarter because it was like 6-6 for the longest time.
Yeah. Until the 4th quarter, actually, I think.
Yeah, and then I woke up. I was telling Tanner on live on air, bet the under because like these guys ain't scoring. I woke up. I was like, hopefully they didn't take my bet because I think the live under at that time it might have went over.
I was about to say, what was the under? Like, what was it, 30?
I think the live when we were talking about it, I think he said the live over under was like 30 something. I was like, oh man, bet that right now. It's like halfway through the third. These teams aren't scoring. And then it's 23-13. I think it was like 35. And they ended up with 36.
Oh, they ended up with 36. So, they would have just lost. Well, I hope nobody was taking the advice of a slightly tilted Nick Bodkins last
Hey,
night.
don't take my advice. I'm not a good gambler. I like talking shit, but when it comes to like, man, I probably, you know what I mean. I'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's why I listen to shout out to Scott Cole. That's why
Yeah.
I take Scott's advice on gambling bets and shit like that. Because I'm not much of a gambler. I'm not that good.
Yeah,
but no, it was a good day. I mean, and then again, we got another football game tonight.
true that. LSU USC tonight. It'll be interesting what USC does. Both teams, right? I mean, LSU coming off both new quarterbacks and everything else, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's a nice fun game for Sunday night, our last Sunday without NFL football. So it'll be nice to see what USC has, post Caleb Williams. And then of course tomorrow night is Florida State trying to make up for that horrible loss to Georgia Tech when they should beat down Boston College tomorrow night. So there's football all weekend. But no, it's what I'm saying, football season is upon us. College football, it was fun. You're saying nothing better than having a full day of Saturday college football until you get to NFL season, and then you have college football all day Saturday, and then you got NFL football all day Sunday.
Good appetizer for the weekend, and then next weekend, obviously, we get the full course. Really, you got like even Thursday night, you get the game on Thursday. Then you get another appetizer on Friday with the Packers and the Eagles, and Saturday you got college football. Sunday you got all really week one kicking off. So excited for it all. Real quick, got to shout out my Iowa Hawkeyes, man. They scored the most points in a half. They scored 36 points in a half. The second half it was 6-0 or going into halftime, and everybody's just like, same Iowa, new season, same Iowa Hawkeyes. It doesn't matter who the OC is, quarterback is. But then the second half, they realized, oh, yeah, we don't have to run this junior high bullshit no more. And finally opened it up and scored 36. Most points in the Iowa half since in 2 decades. So, which
and they still pitch a shutout too, man. So the defense is still there.
Oh, yeah, the defense is always going to be there. And to me, it's weird to think like you're like 2 decades old. You're thinking like the 80s or you know what I mean? Shit, no, that was 2001. I was like, holy shit, that was fucking 2 decades ago, which is insane to think, right? Like you're just like, I mean, maybe especially for us, right? I mean, you're older than me. But to me, I'm like, 2 decades ago was like the 80s still to me.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, reality hits you hard when when you realize 2 decades ago was this century. It goes by quick, man. But no, I'm with you on that one. But no, that's a nice, you're saying, I'm sure it's nice to see a 40 burger out there for your Iowa Hawkeyes. I mean, I know it's Illinois State, but still a win's a win, and it's a nice dominating win. So hopefully they can take some of that and continue moving on with that. It'll be like, that's the one thing I'm excited about, the 12-team playoff. I know a lot of people were frustrated that it was 12. I'm with you. I think me and you both said 8 would have been good.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with the 12 because I want to see more teams in it just to see what can happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a couple of 12-5 beatdowns and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But every once in a while you'll get that upset, and then you never know that singular talent quarterback or whatever could do something, or if there's a dominating defense.
Somebody can
have, and it's one game, so it's I'm saying it's similar to the basketball shit where that one game you're saying you can do stuff that you weren't expected to do, as opposed to having to win 4 out of 7 or something like that in a series. So I'm looking forward to this. This season is going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking forward to it too. Johnny, I got to ask you, I was surprised your coach, Mike McDaniel, got the extension. I thought he would be more on the hot seat, and maybe I'm just being a semi-hater because if they didn't, let's just say they're one and done in the playoffs again, I figured, well, that's 3-4 years in a row here where they haven't beat like a 500 type team. If they have the same type of season they've had the last 2 years under him, but he got the extension. You surprised? Because I was.
No, I'm not really surprised. I mean, I guess I'm surprised when it happened. I'm not surprised that it happened. I understand people's mindset of that they haven't won a playoff game, and yes, it's horrible to think that the Miami Dolphins haven't won a playoff game. They have the longest streak now that Detroit actually won a playoff game this year. So the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 24 years, which is the longest streak in the NFL right now, which is an embarrassment. But he doesn't run from it, he doesn't hide from it, but he doesn't have nothing to do with all those other years. You know what I'm saying? He's been the coach the last 2 years. It's back-to-back playoffs for the first time in several years for the Dolphins. We haven't had an offense like this since the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So it's fun. Yeah. It's exciting.
3 decades ago.
Yes, 3 decades ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's been, 30-plus years, almost 40 years since we've had this type of an offense, a fun offense. For the last 2 decades, last 20 years, it's been grinding just to get to 17, 20 points. So he's got a great offensive mind. I mean, he's learning on the job. He's gotten better every year. His relationship with Tua has gone a long way as far as organization. Once they committed to Tua, you kind of saw it coming because I guess they're going to be kind of linked at the hip
together.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people say he could be on the hot seat, but again, not a lot of teams. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't Kansas City, you know what I'm saying? It's not like other teams, a bunch of teams are winning titles. You know what I'm saying? It's Kansas City that's
but they're winning playoff games. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So so the expectation should be for that, but at the same time, you don't want to give up on a young, up and coming coach because he hasn't gotten through that barrier yet.
I.e. Browns and Bill Belichick. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You saw what the Browns did with Bill Belichick, but I mean, like Philly, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like, the GM for Philly has been there forever. I know they've gone through a couple of coaches now, but Andy Reid was there for a hot minute until they finally, moved on past him. You know what I'm saying? So it takes time, and for us to let's say we win, get the wild card and lose again, then you fire him and go to another coach. That's exactly what the Dolphins have been doing for the last 20-something years, and it hasn't worked. So how about you show a little stability, a little continuity in your coaching staff and your front office, and see if we can make this happen. Hopefully, we progress this year and snap that that losing streak of playoff games. But if not, he's not a coach that I want to give up on just because the offense is just insane, bro. It's like so much fun to actually watch Dolphin games now.
Yeah, we'll stay in your division here real quick. You mentioned you guys are the longest team to not win a playoff game. The longest team not to make the playoffs is the Jets. Obviously, they're hoping to do that with Aaron Rodgers. But a report kind of came out today or this week from The Athletic or somebody that the Jets are in disarray already, that they've pretty much tried to give this whole thing to Aaron, let him run the whole damn show. It's pissed players off or the front office. I don't think Bob Saleh is a good head coach. He has proven time and time again that he's really not a good coach. Like, they've won some games off of talent, I feel like. And then, but what's your make of already? We're at week 1 here, and it's reported that Jets team is in full disarray, and they've given pretty much the keys to the kingdom to Aaron, much like they did what he did with Brett Favre when he came there. You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of expected that to be the case, not the turmoil and stuff like that, but the fact that they turned it over to Aaron Rodgers. When you make a move like that to bring in that type of a talent at quarterback at his age, you are kind of turning it over to him. You let him kind of make some decisions as far as some people that he would want on the team. I mean, there's no other reason why the Jets would sign Alan Lazard and give him that kind of contract if it wasn't for the fact that was Rodgers' boy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Randall Cobb.
Yeah. Well, so, the offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, is there because of Aaron Rodgers. So the Jets went all in on it. So I understand them doing that. But I mean, when you have a defense as good as they are, even though sometimes they get a little too much love, but they are a very good defense, but they went all in on it. So I give them props for doing that. You know what I'm saying? But they have let him kind of run the asylum. Yeah. And I've been hearing this stuff since like the end of last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was some players that weren't happy with the way things were being done. And Robert Saleh is a perfect example of what we were just talking about with McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? McDaniel has had 2 winning seasons in a row, has made it to the playoffs. Yeah, we haven't won a playoff game, but it's not like we're having shitty seasons like the Jets have had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
in last year, I felt like they just used the excuse that Rodgers was hurt, that the reason they weren't good. You know what I mean? Well, that's y'all's fault. Like coach him, like one player. You know what I mean? Most teams, you lose your starting quarterback, you are going to be your team's not going to be very good. Like that goes for every team in the NFL,
right? For
the most part. I mean, unless you just strike lightning in the bottle with like a Brock Purdy type,
right? Or like Cleveland managed to.
Yeah, but you knew going into the season that you had Zach Wilson as your backup last year.
Exactly.
That's your fault. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You should have addressed to that. Now they did with Tyrod Taylor this year, but that's still on you. Like, and it's still your job to coach him up and change the game plan to fit Zach Wilson's what he can and can't fucking do. And they didn't do that. And you know what I mean? And Bob Saleh says, I get everybody's not a great public speaker and being a great at press conferences, but man, he shoots himself in the foot during press conferences about every time he talks on the microphone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they did kind of use it as a crutch. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they wound up winning 7 games and they did win 7 games. Good for them. You're saying, like I said, that defense is a top 5 defense. So that's one thing you got to give him credit for. He can coach a defense, but yeah, they went into the season with Zach Wilson.
Look at the player; they got some dudes on that defense. You know,
yeah, they do. Absolutely, they do.
Yeah,
and one of the criticisms about the whole Aaron Rodgers thing is that he supposedly, again, this is allegedly, he was the one that was telling them, "Nah, we're good with Zach Wilson. I'm gonna get him ready to go, so he'll be ready to take over once I'm done." So I don't know if they let that creep in too much.
Maybe he did. Maybe because maybe he was like, this kid sucks. I don't know. You know what I
mean? Right. But I mean, so they made it seem like he was encouraging them to just stay with Zach Wilson and that he was gonna teach him. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna take him under his wing and kind of get him ready for when he walked away. But at the same time, you have to have. I mean, he was a 39-year-old quarterback last year. You have to have a better backup that can help you get by. I mean, of course, you're not expecting to lose your quarterback after 4 plays, but to have to fall back to Zach Wilson, who you were trying to get away from, obviously, when you bring in Aaron Rodgers, that's inexcusable to not have a better backup than that in the building at least. And then, you know what I'm saying, they did kind of lean on the fact, oh, well, it is what it is. We lost Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, so it was kind of used that excuse for the whole season, but it's New York. It's the Jets. They're always going to have that pressure and that attention. I don't know how you say winning solves everything though. So if they come out and they win some games, then it'll be all kumbaya or whatever. But if they hit some problems, then it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because I mean, this is this. You know what I'm saying? Does it seem like Aaron really gives 2 shits if the shit don't work out? It's almost like Aaron can be like, well, whatever. I got my money. I played my year, deuces, and be out. You know what I'm saying? And then the Jets are in for it again, the following year. But I expect him to stay healthy. And again, like I said, winning is the great deodorant. So if they win some games and stuff like that, it'll quiet down as far as
winning cures all wounds. You know what I mean? That's what I've
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alan says he can understand making the argument in college or high school because of how raw young talent can be, but the NFL has professionals. And you have a top 5 defense, figure it out. So
absolutely, and that's part of what I'm saying. That again, you have Nathaniel Hackett as your OC only because of Aaron Rodgers. If you had a more qualified, better OC, he might have been able to figure some shit out to do with Zach Wilson last year.
Yeah, or sometimes you got to fit the in a situation like that. You got to fit your offense for the player. You know,
right?
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is here's the 3-5 things that he does really well.
Right.
All right, we're going to do those things. Here's the 5-6 things that he doesn't do well. Okay, we're going to try not to do those things.
Right. Try to avoid those things.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe a better offensive coordinator would have been able to come up with that. But you have Aaron's boy as the OC.
Well, the head coach too has got to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, as far as like coming up with game plans and shit like that, if you have an offensive-minded head coach, then I can see him. You're saying, but he was completely focused on the defense, and you know what I'm saying, the offense is basically it's all Aaron. That's why they're saying that he has like too much control because like I guess he's calling his own plays and the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So Nathaniel Hackett is just there, you know what I'm saying, collecting a check, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know what I'm saying, when you lose that quarterback, then you get exposed like they did last year. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, I hope he stays healthy. He's one of the favorite players. I know he's in my division or whatever, but I want to see Aaron Rodgers play. So
I do too. I mean, obviously, I'm a Aaron Rodgers fan, so you know, from watching him for 18 years. So
plus, I don't want to hear Jets fucking excuses anymore. So when we beat the shit out of y'all, I don't want to hear, oh, well, Aaron wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Aaron doesn't play defense, and we dropped 30 on them twice. But anyway.
We got a nice little clap back from the topic we discussed last week. We said Ant said that guys couldn't play in today's game other than Jordan, but KG he clapped back at Ant. He pretty much said, ain't nobody playing today's game could have played 20 years ago. I mean, I don't want to say that. I do think there is players that probably would not be as successful in the physicality of 20 years ago game, 30 years ago game as they are today. There isn't really a lot of post up moves. There's no back to the basket, but there are guys that definitely could play today's game 20 years ago. Ant probably being one of them. Durant. I mean, shit. LeBron James was playing 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right. It's back to what we were talking about when we started the show. Yeah, we got to go 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah, but I mean, it was nice for KG to stick up for his era. But for the most part, like we talked this yesterday, there's guys that are going to do different things. Now, there are guys, like I said, probably not going to be as successful. You know what I mean? Because of the physicality of the game, the way the game was played.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. I mean, it's I can appreciate Kevin Garnett wanting to defend. I mean, because it was a complete slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? What Anthony said. You know what I'm saying? A complete disrespect to that era of basketball player for him to say that none of them had skill except for Michael. So you expected somebody to come back at him, but don't come back at him with the same level of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Is the only thing I would say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand wanting to come back at him because, you know what I'm saying, he disrespected you or whatever, but there's obviously going to be players that are playing now that would be able to play in that era. It is a different game, but again, players would adjust. There wouldn't be as many. I'm with you on that one. You know what I'm saying? Not as many of them would be as successful because the amount of space that they have on the floor right now lets a lot of these guys get away with not having as much skill as they think they do, but because they're able to shoot or whatever, you know what I'm saying, they make it in the league. But back then you had to defend. You know what I'm saying? It was a more physical game, you know what I'm saying? So some guys probably couldn't deal with that, but it's like that Jay-Z line, you know what I'm saying, from a distance, you know what I'm saying, when two fools are screaming at each other from a distance, you can't tell who is who. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it feels like in this situation here. Anthony made an ignorant comment, and then KG in retaliation made, not as ignorant, but I mean, he went a little bit above by saying that none of the players now would be able to play back then.
Yeah.
Most of them would, you know what I'm saying? To what degree of success they would have, who knows? Because that's the one thing about comparing eras is you never know. But I mean, I would expect KD to still be able to score some points. Like you mentioned, LeBron would still be able to play.
Yeah.
And I think Luka
would still be able to play.
The Joker would still be, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
guys,
how much Giannis I think would be good. You know what I'm saying? How much fun would that have been to see Joker playing against like Patrick Ewing or Joker playing against Akeem Olajuwon, or Shaq? Like those battles would have been awesome. And I think Joker, with his skill set, would have still been, you know what I'm saying, the same type of player back then. He would still be doing what he's doing.
Giannis is a little different to me because, like, he plays better in space, and he's not really a back to the basket type at power forward. You know what I mean? Like,
well, he would have been like a Sean Kemp type.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He would have been a high flyer. So if you got him the right point guard. You know what I'm saying? Giannis would, you know what I'm saying? Giannis would, I think he would still, and plus Giannis is the type that he'll put in that work.
Yeah.
to get better.
Yeah,
You know
Steph Curry probably still would be able to shoot threes. Like, I don't know, like he gets a lot of space, but like, man, if guys could hand check him and things like that, you know what I mean? Like that's that's huge. Like that's hugely different than in today's game. Be able to hand check, really press on them, and you're just feeling everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. Like
could his body have handled it? I don't know, because he is, you know what I mean? Like, but you know,
that's a great point about his body being able to handle it. Because if you remember, he had some ankle injuries early on in his career.
Yeah, remember they were talking about trading him and he being a bust because he couldn't get his ankles right. Yeah.
So I mean, I think he would have adjusted because of his his work ethic and his discipline and stuff, but he still probably would have been the greatest shooter ever, but it would have been as wide open. He would have probably had to get a little stronger. You know what I'm saying, like that. And, you know what I'm saying? His defense, there would have been more of a chance of his defense getting exposed a little bit more. But like I said, it's hard to say, but you know what I'm saying? It's an interesting topic. It's something that every generation is going to debate. But
it is, and Alan's right here, and everybody's forgetting like history being swept under.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's with everything, because we live in the here with social media, where in the way our attention spans are just awful. We live in the here and now. You know what I mean? What's right in front of us every day, every week. There's on ESPN. There's that was the catch of a lifetime.
Right, that was the greatest ever.
Yeah, that was the greatest catch I've ever seen. I saw 3 catches like that this week. Like, you know what I mean? That was the greatest catch I ever seen. Like that was, and they just put it on a damn loop for 2 days until the next catch. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, come on, man. Like, that's actually an excellent point. I mean, we touched on it last week when Ant made the comments. I mentioned the fact that it seems like this generation don't care about history of shit, and everything is better now than it ever was. And in some aspects, some things are. You know what I'm saying? Medicine, technology, stuff like that is better now than it was, but that doesn't mean that you forget what got us to this point, and what, you know what I'm saying, how we were able to get to this is because of what happened before. And for athletes, like, to just completely disrespect the generation before, you wouldn't be making this $60 million a year if it wasn't for the guys that, you know what I'm saying, went through that grind in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to get to this point. So, and it's frustrating. I'm glad he lumped in the journalism, because the sports media has a lot to do with it. You know what I'm saying? The narratives that they want to spin and stuff like that, it just makes it easier for this generation to forget about the past, because they're getting so much praise and shit like that for stuff that we've already seen done before. But, exactly. It's, and it's like, oh, well, I haven't seen a dunk like, you know what I mean? But guys are doing a little bit of stuff that we hadn't seen because they're bigger, fat. What we talked about, they're bigger, faster, stronger. But like, Dr. J was doing some shit that nobody had ever seen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dominique Wilkins was doing some shit that they had never seen. But something we hadn't seen, Johnny, and I'm going to transition here, is the Aces struggling the last few years. The back-to-back WNBA champions. They've only won one game since the break. They've lost 6 of their last 7. One of those, that lone win was against Chicago, where they won on a last-second tip-in by Asia Wilson. What's going on here with the defending WNBA champs?
I want to say that the Olympics and whatever is catching up to them as far as maybe some tired legs. Because 3 of them were on the Olympic squad, so they haven't had much of a break. Asia, who's having a phenomenal season, has kind of come down to earth a little bit. She still has some big games or whatever, but the team-wise,
MVP,
right?
You know what I mean?
And that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump this shit off my chest now.
Go ahead.
The whole MVP, the fact that she was being like given the MVP before we even got to like the halfway point, to me was like ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, you said there was a lot of backlash, and people were frustrated that Breanna Stewart won the MVP last year when she signed with New York and got New York, you know what I'm saying, to the number 2 seed or whatever it was. And, you she was the MVP. She took a team that wasn't as good and got them all the way up to the pinnacle, to play in the Aces in the damn finals. So she deserved the MVP. She put up those numbers. Was Asia Wilson just as deserving? Probably. She was number 2. You know what I'm saying? But so it almost seems like this year they want to like make up for that, and they just immediately are anointing her the MVP. I mean, she was the MVP of the first half, but if she doesn't have
half the season to go.
there's a whole other half of the season. There's other players that are having phenomenal seasons, including Brianna Stewart, including Sabrina Ionescu, including Caitlin Clark, which people don't want to, people don't want to like just deal with the fact that the girl is freaking good.
They were talking about that. Obviously, this rookie race has,
that needs to stop.
Yeah. And to shout out to RG3, he posted this too. He's like, everybody was talking about this race, and it's like it's one-sided. If you really look at it, Caitlin Clark, listen to this, Johnny. So she's already set the record, WNBA record for threes made in a game season. Only rookie to ever have a triple double. First rookie ever with 400 points, 100 rebounds, and 150 assists. Caitlin is top 10 points in top 10 points per game, leads the WNBA in assists per game, and is from 4th in threes made. And she set the WNBA record for assists in the game. I mean, Angel Reese leads for the WNBA in rebounds, and she set the record for double doubles. But man, like when you really dig deep, one of these players has the ball in her hands at all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and one of their teams is in the playoffs right now. The Chicago is not. The Fever is.
Right.
They're 500 right now. They play they're 16-16. The Fever are 500. If they win today, they're about 500. Pretty much for almost the first time all season. Like, it took some time, and this is why, again, I said I think everybody was so mad she didn't make the Olympic team. I said she don't need to play. She needs to rest. Like, she's going to rest, and then they're going to get cooking in the second half, and that's what they're doing already.
I agree with you on that point right there. She needed it physically and mentally, probably the break or whatever. I still think she should have been on the team because I think she was that good going into it, but it was probably the best thing for her. I think they're 6-1. Coming out of the break, they're 7-3 in their last 10. I mean, this is a team that started out 1-8, and now they're 16-16. So I know her numbers aren't as gaudy as Asia, but she's carrying that team. You know what I'm saying? I know Kelsey.
If you look at the roster, the Aces.
Right. Thank you. The Aces are loaded. You know what I'm saying? 3 Olympians for the, saying, a bunch of all-stars.
Back-to-back champions.
Back-to-back champions. So, I mean, for them to just want to anoint Asia Wilson, and she's probably the best player. Yes, she's probably the best player in the league. Yes. That doesn't mean that she's the most valuable of that season. And that's something that people aren't like, saying, understanding.
That happens in every sport, right? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Are they the most valuable? That's where we get messed up in every MVP. Are they the most valuable player the MVP is the most valuable player to their team. Right. So are they the best player? No, because like, even, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen it in the NBA. We've seen it in football. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And really in the NFL, it's just become the quarterback trophy anymore. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, which is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, and that's why like baseball has like the offensive player of the year, and then they have the MVP to kind of separate the two. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Asia Wilson is phenomenal, but again, you know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned, they're hitting a bit of a dip right now. They first of all, they came out to a slow start. You know what I'm saying? Then they won a bunch in a row and kind of got themselves their footing under them. And then they've been 5-5 in the last 10. So right now they're sitting at the number 4 seed. The Indiana Fever are at the number 6 seed. Will they catch them? I doubt it. There's only like 8 games left, but still, it's the point of where the Fever were last year. And I'm not making a case for CC to be MVP. I'm just saying that's why you don't anoint people after half of a season. You know, you need to let the whole thing play out and see what happens or whatever. But I still think they're going to be in it because it's going to be hard to beat the Aces. 2 out of 3 in a series or whatever. So, but the Connecticut Sun are a really good team. You know what I'm saying? The Minnesota, Nafisa Collier in Minnesota is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So Minnesota's a team that's going to be a problem for people. So it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs come around. But that was just something I had to dump out, was the whole anointing people, you know what I'm saying, a few weeks into a season. Oh, that's the MVP right there. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the MVP of the whole season, not of the first half. So let the shit play out. But as far as the rookie thing, like, just watching the last Fever Sky game, if you watch that game, first of all, Caitlin went off. I think she had 31 points, 12 assists.
Yeah.
So there was 4 minutes left in the game, and I'm watching this game, and I can't believe what I'm watching. There's 4 minutes left in this game, and Indiana takes all the starters out. She goes to sit down. The Chicago Sky take all of their starters out except for Angel Reese. And she only had 5 points, and she had 10 rebounds. Why did she get left in the game? Just so she can get a fucking double-double. Yeah. Like, that's an embarrassment, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why this whole double-double shit, like, props to her. She's probably the best rebounder in the league right now. I'm gonna give it to her. I'm glad she wore that Dennis Rodman jersey the other day, because that's who she is. Yeah. And she's got his offensive game as well. Like, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Now, can she develop it? Right now, she's horrible underneath the rim. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? She's the best rebounder in the league. So there's a difference between a tremendous effort player, a good, you know what I'm saying, rebounder and person like you know, Angel Reese, and a generational type talent in Caitlin Clark. So this Rookie of the Year shit is a complete media thing that they're just making just to make it interesting. But it's not. It's one-sided as hell. Caitlin Clark is without a doubt the best rookie in this class. If anything, Rakia Jackson in LA is putting together up some numbers that she should be considered. The young girl, I forget her name, for the New York Liberty. I want to say it's like Liebisch or something like that. She's a European girl. She's balling out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's other people in this conversation. Angel Reese just, you know what I'm saying? She did that little wave thing in her face back at Caitlin, and ever since then she's had the spotlight on her. But if you actually look at her game, she's a hustler, she's a great rebounder, but her offensive game is horrible. And there's no comparison to Caitlin Clark. So yeah, she's your typical post player. You know what I mean? Like, well, no. She's not even your typical post player, bro.
Like, she don't have no back to the basket or nothing like that. But
she ain't. Right. I mean, Camila Cardoso is perfect, though. Camila Cardoso is a better post player, offensive player than Angel Reese.
Oh yeah, of course.
On her same team. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She's the better rebounder. She can run the court. But running the floor don't help if you're gonna miss every fucking layup you know what I'm saying? So, and again, I don't want to shit on her, but it's just like people are trying to prop her up, and nah, bro, like she ain't on the Caitlin Clark level. Like, we need to stop that. That race is over. She needs to hit the gym, and props to her for doing everything she's doing or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? She's got her own podcast coming out. She's you know what I'm saying? Make that money, girl. Do what you got to do, but you better get in the gym and work on your craft. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be perennial all-star or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because stuff's getting exposed. Like I said, watching those last 4 minutes, like she was thirsting for that ball too. It's like, you know what I'm saying, just to continue the streak of double-doubles, and you want to break in a record of Tina Charles, who's one of the greatest players ever. All time. And it's fraudulent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're staying in a blowout game just to get to 10 points. Yeah. And it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like she had
just to get to 10 points. Really?
Yeah, just to get to 10 points.
People don't understand 10 points is really not that much. And you're around the basket, like, you should get, and you play that many minutes, like
that. And that's the thing too. If you look at that game for 30 whatever minutes, she had 5 points. And then she had 5 points in the last 4 minutes because she was the only starter on the floor out of the whole 10. Yeah. Like, that's you know what I'm saying? That's whack, bro.
Alan brings up a good point here. They're grimy. They're trying to Caitlin Clark's been frequently fouled 5 times this year, 4 of those against Chicago, which is, man, that's
crazy, bro. It's crazy. And I understand wanting to have that tough mentality or whatever, but there's a difference between being tough and hard nosed and being, you know what I'm saying, going a little bit too far with some of these hits and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I've said this before. It's like Clark just goes out and plays ball. Like, she does not get into this, this shit. You know, she does talk trash, but
yes, she does.
What great player name me a great player
Bro,
in any sport that never talks shit?
Me and you ain't great players, and we talk hella shit on the basketball court. That's what people do. You talk shit on the basketball court.
Yes,
like
yes.
everybody does that. You know what I'm saying?
Every sport, there's people
Right.
talking shit.
Yes,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Like, yeah, she talks shit. You know what I mean?
But she ain't out there throwing elbows and trying to like, you know what I'm saying, hip check people and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? I hate the fact that the Diamond, the Shields got, you know what I'm saying? I mean, she did commit that foul that was put on the newspaper like that. Like that went a little bit too far or whatever, but at the same time, she was part of it. She did do it. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad it's all of that stuff's being exposed so that hopefully we can get past it. And you know what I'm saying? Stuff is going to have to get elevated. You know what I'm saying? The referees are going to have to be better. You know what I'm saying? Players, you're going to have to be better. Coaches, you're going to have to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting all this attention now. So if you want to get to that next level, you're going to have to step it up. You're going to have to put that work in to get better. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that this is what helps elevate the WNBA, because I enjoy watching women's basketball. So I want, you know what I'm saying? I want them to excel and get better. So
we're the final stretch for the WNBA, and it is September 1st, Johnny, which means it is the final month for baseball season. And man, there's some races that are tighter than a virgin's butthole going to his first night in prison. I mean, your Yankees only a game and a half up on Baltimore. Cleveland has fallen all the way back. They're 2.5 ahead of Kansas City. The Twins are 3.5. Everything kind of seems kind of wrapped up to me in the National League as far as division races. I mean, I don't see Philly collapsing on a 6 game against Atlanta. Milwaukee's up 10 games on my Cubs. The Dodgers are up 6 games on the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks been the best team record-wise since the All-Star break. But then you get to the wild card, though. You got Boston's 3.5 back of Minnesota. And then you got in the National League, the Mets are right there. They're only 2 back of Atlanta. They're going to play a bunch of each other a couple times, so the Mets could kind of control their own destiny. My Cubs are only 4 back. I think it's going to be a little bit too late. I'm not buying quite yet. I would love for it to happen, but I just don't think it's going to happen. But what race are you, obviously outside of the Yankees Baltimore race, what race are you keeping an eye on, and who do you think is going to win some of these races?
Well, I mean, as far as who's going to win them, that's going to be interesting. Like you mentioned, obviously the AL East I've been paying attention to because that's my division. But the NL East, you mentioned the Braves and the Mets. Like it's amazing what the Braves are doing considering all of the injuries that they've had to deal with all year. So for them to even be in the position that they're
like
in,
2 best pitchers, and their best hitter,
right?
Like, man,
yeah. I mean, so props to shout out to Jonathan. I know he's saying he's loving it. What his Braves are able to do. The Phillies have been the leader of that division pretty much the whole time. So they got a nice 6-game lead. But you mentioned the wild card. What the Diamondbacks have done lately has been great. The Dodgers are just still chugging along, doing what the Dodgers do. You know what I'm saying? So, can your Cubs? I think your Cubs can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, is that there's no real, besides the Dodgers doing what they're doing and Philly having the year they're having, like, there haven't been like any dominant teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, teams can get got. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of people talking, the last couple of weeks that, the Yankees, after that little stumble that they took in the month of July, that they can go on a streak because they were playing all these below 500 teams. Well, it turns out that the Yankees aren't playing well against below 500. They have like the best record against teams above 500 and one of the worst records against teams below 500. So figure that one out. You know what I'm saying? But it's baseball. That shit happens. We lost 2 out of 3 to the Chicago White Sox, who are probably going to go down as the worst team in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? There's a month left. The expanded rosters are now. So, you know what I'm saying? People are going to bring up their best young talent that are on the 40-man to see if that gives them a little bit. So I'm interested to see if your Cubs can make a push to make the playoffs in the wild card. I'm interested to see. I'm not the typical Yankee fan that just hates the Mets, because why hate the Mets? It's almost like your little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I hate Boston and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate the Mets. So I want the Mets to be, you know what I'm saying? They're fun to watch sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to see what they can do.
And they were lousy at one point. Like how bad they were at one point. You know what I mean?
And they brought up a couple of their kids, including the catcher Alvarez, and they've gone on a little run. Sometimes you need that young infusion to kind of help, you know, get your team up or whatever, especially when you're a little bit of an older team. But no, this is going down the stretch in September. This is, yeah, I mean, I know we say this a lot as far as like this is the best time of year, but like this, it is. Football season is starting.
Like social media and everything else.
right. You know what I'm saying? But
we'll say the same thing in March, man. You got the draft, you got the March Madness.
Yeah. I mean, you know, this is the golden era of being a sports fan. You know what I'm saying? Like you have all these sports like just, you know, at your disposal, and then with social media and with all these streaming services, like you can watch so much more than when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had like 3 channels. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I watched was Yankee games and Braves game and Cubs games. That's it. That's all that was available to me when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So but no, you got, like you said, the stretch of, you know, going on the stretch here in baseball season. You got the NFL starting, college football starting. The WNBA is going to be close to the playoffs, so it's a great time. But as far as the Braves, like my interest is more with the, obviously as a Yankee fan, I'm interested to see what happens in the American League, but I'm gonna be paying close attention to what happens with the wild card in the National League to see if your Cubs can do something, see if the Mets can do a little something, see if the Braves actually fall off. I mean, 7-3 in the last 10 is insane considering all their injuries. You guys went 8-2 in the last 10, so. Sometimes it's not about the best team; it's about the hottest team.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm a little worried about the Cubs. Like they got a pretty favorable schedule, but there's a stretch here where we got Yankees. We got your Yankees, and then we got 6 games. All Yankees, Dodgers. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's if we can go. Like if we had a
go 500.
Record,
if you have a winning record, that's a great That's a great series to go. Yeah. That's a great road trip or whatever. Is it on the road, both of them? At home? You hosting?
I think we're let me look. Let me scroll.
Oh, please tell me they're at Wrigley.
So you guys come to Wrigley.
Oh, nice.
But then we go to LA.
Okay. Yeah, that's oh man, I can't wait to see that though. I can't wait to see the Yankees in Wrigley Field.
And then after that, we got Colorado, the A's, the Nationals, and then we have a late September series with the Phillies. Then we got the Reds to finish it out. So I mean, if you guys could do something with the Dodgers and the Yankees, that 6-game stretch, like if we can go over 500 on that stretch, that's a win. But if you go 2-4 on that 6 games, that might sink us in.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't go 2-4 in that 6-game span because you mentioned the teams that you're playing after that, Colorado, the A's, and some of those teams. Like if you can somehow like talk about the momentum and how good your team's gonna feel just to be successful in those 2 series.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you can come away, taking 2 out of 3 against the Yankees and somehow taking 2 out of 3 against the Western, the NL West division leaders in the Dodgers, like you guys should be feeling good going into those last series. And then you mentioned you got a nice series with the Phillies towards the end. So I mean, you kind of got your fate in your own hands, man. And that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? You want your team to have an opportunity going into September. You know what I'm saying? As a sports fan. You know what I'm saying? It sucks when your team, you know what I'm saying, in July, you're like, oh, well, we're horrible. You know what I'm saying? I need to start looking for next year. Like start thinking about next year.
I was like that. But they've turned it around. They like you said, like some of these young guys, the Cubs have got some young guys that have improved as the season has gone and have gotten so much better. I'm looking at the Philly. So the Mets, they play the Phillies a lot and the Braves. So like those 2 teams,
they're gonna beat each other up.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they kind of come out even in those, and you're above 500, you know what I'm saying? So that's an opportunity for your Cubs to make up some ground.
The Braves.
Now, if one just either they both kind of split or one just completely dominates the other. So that way that loser can fall out and then you can gain some ground.
Yeah. The Braves, I'm looking at they got pretty favorable schedule. They do have the Dodgers, and then, like I said, they also have the Mets as well, and the Royals. Their last series is against the Royals, who got shit to play for, so they're playing some playoff teams. So we'll see. It is the final month of the season, so I'm excited to see where it goes and what happens. So let's get into Johnny. You said no movie, but you do, and real great. Read the thing just so you remember.
Brief summary movie review. All right, well, it's going to be about the show. It's House. I didn't get a chance to go watch The Crow. I'm going to go watch it this week with wifey. So I'll have a brief report about a review of The Crow next week. I might actually have two because the Beetlejuice comes out next week, and
save one for the next week.
Yeah, I'll save one for the other one. But I finally got to finish watching House of the Dragon season 2. Just a brief review. If you're into Game of Thrones at all, you definitely want to watch House of the Dragon. Obviously, it's called House of the Dragon. You get to see a lot more dragons. This season 2, a lot of thrilling moments, a lot of storytelling, putting stuff together.
This is like Games of Thrones, like a prequel, or what?
Yeah, this is a prequel to Game of Thrones. Okay. It's set a couple hundred years before Game of Thrones, and it tells you all about the Targaryen family, which is the dragon. You know what I'm saying? The House of the Dragon. Okay, so the Targaryens are. Go into it. The girl that was riding the dragons in Game of Thrones, she's a Targaryen. They had dragons back in the day, and it's like kind of their lineage and it's in their blood or whatever. So this is like the story of the civil war that happened in that family, because they wind up fighting each other for power, and that's how they wind up going down. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you definitely want to check out House of the Dragon. Really cool storyline in this second season. Some good action sequences, some stuff that they really link and do a good job of like explaining some stuff that happened in Game of Thrones that you're like, oh, cool, okay, that's why that happened or whatever. So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you definitely want to check out House of the Dragon season 2. The first season, in my opinion, was a little better than the second season, but it's starting to ramp up as far as the dragons actually fighting. So season 3 should be a lot of fun. So that's my brief review of House of the Dragon season 2. It's definitely exciting.
People were crushing the finale. Was the finale not good?
Well, the finale wasn't as good because it was meant to be 10 episodes for this season. And then Warner Brothers told them that they had to cut it to 8. So like we're right on the cusp of like some really great battles that are supposed to be happening, and now we got to wait till season 3 to watch them.
What do you rate? What do you rate it?
I mean, out of 5, I would probably give this season a 3. Where season 1, I would have gave them a 4. For season 1. But I'm really anxious and excited for season 3 because, like I said, that's when you're going to get all the action that should have happened at the end of this season. You're going to get it right off a jump in season 3. Like there's some battles in the books and stuff like that are supposed to happen, that should have happened at the end of this season, that are going to wind up happening right at the beginning of season 3. So you have time to get these 2 seasons in. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, these are a must. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, I don't know why, but to each his own.
Me, you know I never watched it.
I mean, it's essentially dragons fighting. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of sex. It's so like, I mean,
the sex is cool. I don't need the dragons and shit. So
well, I mean, they actually do a good job with it, where they don't. Especially in Game of Thrones, like there's only those 3 that she's got. You know what I'm saying? And they don't come in until later on in the first season or whatever.
Yeah, so that doesn't tickle me, man.
You don't like medieval old school shit like that.
I like Braveheart. You know what I mean? Okay. But I don't know. I'm not a fantasy.
You're not a fantasy person.
Yeah,
no. Yeah. It's actually cool, man. There's some good acting, some good storylines in it and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's if you had the time, because there's 7 seasons in that first season, even though there's only like 7 or 8 episodes or something like that per season, so it's not like old school back in the day where you have like 24 episodes or something.
Yeah.
It's not like that. So it's something if you had a long weekend, if you had some time to burn. So it ain't happening.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right, so to the Game of Thrones fans out there, definitely check out House of the Dragon. Again, it was a cliffhanger per se, the end of season 2, only because we didn't get the battles that we were supposed to get, but they're gonna start right at the beginning of season 3. So If you have time to watch them both, definitely check them out. But yeah, I would give it a 3 out of 5 for season 2. Season 1 was definitely a bit better for me, but I like where the story's leading us, and I'm excited for season 3.
All right, that's good. All right. Real quick, I did watch before I get to the album review. I did watch Adam Sandler's new stand-up that's on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
I forget what it's called. This shit was pretty funny. I would probably, I mean, 3.5, 4 stars. Also, I watched the Joe Rogan stand-up last week. I forgot to mention that his shit was hilarious too. So,
okay,
yeah,
I love watching stand-up shit. So I'm definitely gonna check those out. Just a quick to throw out some shows. There's on Netflix. They got, I don't know if people are into anime, but they got the Terminator animated show on Netflix that is getting rave reviews. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. Okay. For comic book fans, there's the Batman Cape Crusader that came out on Prime. It's supposed to be like a darker, grittier type, you know what I'm saying, Batman. So if you're into that, check out that on Amazon Prime. But I will be checking those out over the next couple of weeks, and I'll give you guys the review on those two as well.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. So my album, the review, I did Big Sean. Came out with a new album this week. So I did country last week, so I went to hip hop this week. Better Than You. It was a decent album. I'm a more of like, I love bangers. Like I feel like, especially rap music, like I just need banger after banger after banger. You know what I mean? And there's a few on there. It's not. It kind of tails off at the end. I feel like the first like 3-4 tracks are really good. I probably kind of give it like I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5. Like it's not, man. I'm gonna save the next one for next week. I don't even want to get into the other album that I listened to. It was trash. But I'm gonna give Big Sean a good solid 3. It was a good Big Sean album. So you know,
I mean that's not bad. 3 isn't bad for you know what I'm saying, for nowadays. I mean, I gotta ask, when's the last time you had an album that you can just let that bitch play?
So the Eminem album, like rap album, the Coup de Grace,
right.
Slim Shady. Like, but I preface that like I'm a stan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I really am. Like, like I'm a diehard Eminem. Like, if somebody, you know, like, but that album was his best album. It was way better than his last 2 albums. I felt like, so it's like to me, it was better than A Music to Be Murdered By. It was better than, I feel like there's.
Oh wow, really? Was that good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a concept album. And you listen from track 1 to the last one. It's got some really good songs on it. Some like heartfelt songs, some funny songs. Right. So it's just one of them albums that I listen to it about once a week at the gym. Like,
okay, nice.
Yeah. So it is. It's got some bangers on there, and it's got some just your typical. It's like old Slim Shady. Like I don't want to say it's like, you know, kind of like Eminem show. It's not quite as good as those, but you know, it's a good album, like a really good album. And,
I'm gonna have to check it out. Like I haven't listened to a whole album in a long time. I'll listen to like, you know, songs here or there or whatever. But I'm with you as far as Eminem. I mean, he's in my top 3. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to admit that, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? The same way they don't want to admit that Caitlin Clark is good, they don't want to give Eminem his props because you know what I'm saying, they just don't. Even though
he got a song on there with Toby, with Big Sean, and this dude Baby Tron. I don't know if you've heard it. That song. I probably listen to that song almost every day. Like it's just like it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen. I got some shit to do here before I start watching some sports. So I'll listen to Eminem today.
Hey, there you go. This week's top 5 is we'll get into before we close the show. Our top 5 things. It's the end of summer, so you probably Labor Day. You probably having the barbecue out for one last time before fall hits. So Johnny, things you got to have at the barbecue to make a good, or things you got to just to have at a good barbecue to make it a good barbecue. Where you like, damn, that barbecue was on point.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 5. Then I'll go with the alcohol and beer choice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, if you got the right variety. of alcoholic beverages. That usually makes for a good barbecue. You don't want to only have beer. You don't want to only have liquor. So you want to have a nice combination of both. So
Yeah, it drinks for the non-alcoholics, water, a little bit of soda.
You know what I'm saying? You got the water, you got the soda and stuff like that for the kids and stuff like that, or for the people that aren't drinking. But make sure you have a decent variety of alcohol there. Don't make me have to drink a Coors Light. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah. Hey, we'll drink it if we get sponsored by Coors Light. If Coors Light,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yes. Coors Light, the best damn beer. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and I mentioned that. Shout out to my uncle Ermy. He was great at having. He always had everything at his house or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he would cook for everybody and stuff like that. But there was always cases of Coors Light in there because that was his drink of choice. So everybody knew they had to bring their own shit.
Yeah.
As far as drink, but
by
all means, sponsor us, Coors Light.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, that's my number 5 too. Really, is drinks. Like you got to have a good, and like you can, even if you make like a good punch or something like that, you got to have good drinks. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is there's got to be some dominoes, a deck of cards. You know what I'm saying? Horseshoes if you're playing horseshoes,
cornhole, some games,
some games. You know what I'm saying? Like games. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing screams barbecue and a get together like, you know what I'm saying, playing some spades out there with your people or playing some dominoes and stuff like that. So the games are crucial to have at a barbecue so you can have fun. And then like you mentioned, cornhole and stuff like that, the kids can get down with that as well too. So you definitely got to have some games out there and people playing games and having fun, man.
Yeah, that's actually my number 3 is games. My number 4 is like side dishes. You got to have good side dishes, and people don't be fucking bringing up potato salad. And I hate that. Like, man, I'm white, so I hate all that white people shit though. But like, you got to have good sides. Like you got to have good deviled eggs though. Like every barbecue got to have good deviled eggs. I don't need the potato salad, but if you do bring the potato salad, make sure it's good. Like you got to have good sides. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean? And have a good dessert too, whether it's pie or some ice cream. You know what I mean? Like after everybody's fucking got to have good sides. That's you don't want to show up and it's just fucking potato chips. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Or just a Publix or a supermarket jug of potato salad, like you said, or macaroni salad and shit.
Yeah. Nah, man.
I'm with you. That's actually my number 2, but I'll get to it what I do. But good sides is definitely important. Yeah. So my number 3 is, you saying I'm gonna put it here since you kind of just mentioned it too. 3 is the food. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm Spanish, so there's usually a pernil, which is the pork shoulder. You roast that. You know what I'm saying? Or some good ribs. Like you mentioned, the sides. I'm just lumping food all together. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your burgers and dogs for the kids, and if somebody just wants to eat a burger or whatever. But those ribs got to be on point. My wife makes this homemade macaroni and cheese where she puts like 6 different cheeses and she makes like a roux for it and stuff. Like
that's my shit. Your macaroni can't be dry. I hate dry.
Dude. Like she don't fuck around when it comes to macaroni and cheese. So like that is like a must to have there. You mentioned the desserts and stuff like that. So just the food and stuff like that, the variety.
You can't
food
just be burgers and dogs. It can't just be burgers and dogs.
Yeah, now burgers and dogs is what you do on the weekend when you're home with the fam, just doing just chilling. You know what I'm saying? If you having people over, if you having people over having a barbecue, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta
have chicken.
You gotta have a variety of stuff. You gotta have, like I said, the chicken, the pork shoulder, throw on some ribs. You know what I'm saying? The burgers and dogs is mostly for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Keep the good meat. Keep the good meat for the adults. Because you're gonna need it with all that alcohol and shit.
Oh yeah, you gotta marinate. I'll marinate that chicken. I'll marinate it overnight. You know what I mean?
That's what we do with the pork shoulder.
Hungry
now.
My number 3 was the game. My number 3 was the games. So like we already kind of talked about, you got to have good games. Got to have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just what are people supposed to do? Just, you know what I mean? So
Right.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is music. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? The music that you have there has to be, you know, a
Yeah,
variety. You know what I'm saying?
Don't have Johnny on the aux cord. We already learned that. Johnny's not allowed on the aux cord. Like,
Nah. Yeah, nah. I can. The music is crucial for a barbecue.
Yeah.
And again, as long as I don't have summer jams thinking in my head, there's a variety of stuff that you can put on, but it's got to be good music, and it has to be a variety. You got to let everybody enjoy the music.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm Spanish, so you'll have some Spanish music, you'll have some country, you know what I'm saying, whatever, some hip hop, some R&B, whatever. But
all decades, just get it all.
Yes,
decades,
all the different
everybody.
decades, hit all the different decades,
all the people feeling
all the bangers. There's no special requests for no, you know what I'm saying, Ricky Martin or no stupid shit like that. Nah, bro. It's all jams and bangers that we playing at the barbecue. Everybody gets to enjoy the music, but yes, from all decades. And
have some dance songs out there. So you know what I mean?
So people can go out there having a good time. Right. Yes, you got to put some of that on. Especially towards the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? That liquor's kicking in. Yeah, that's when you want to slow that music up for the couples.
Yeah. Hey. That's my number 2 too, music. So we was on the same vibe. What's the number 1 thing?
It's the people.
Same, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
You gotta have the right people at your barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, people that you down with, that you want to be around, that you want to, you know what I'm saying, that you can be yourself and they can be themselves, and you can just, you know what I'm saying, you can just have a good time. There's nobody there being fake. There's no agendas. There's no corner of people just talking shit about other people. Nah, bro. Everybody's there just enjoying each other's company, having a good old time. I think, you know, like I said, the people, music, and food, like if those 3 are on point, you know what I'm saying, I could deal with the lack of games and the other shit, you know what I'm saying? But if those 3 are on point, but especially the people that you have around you at the barbecue, that's important. That's crucial.
Exactly. You know what? Like, even if the food gets fucked up somehow, some way, like,
you can still have a good time if you got the right people there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
As long as the good people there, hey, it don't matter. We having a good time. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Vibes is right. Yeah. It's gotta be good vibes to people,
yes.
you know?
I'm big on vibes and energy and shit. So yes, if we all vibing well, I don't give a fuck if we got to order some pizza because the food got all, you know what I'm saying, the food got all messed up. Whatever, we chilling, we having a good time. The people is number 1 definitely.
Yeah, that's what I had too. The people, you gotta have a good barbecue. You gotta have good vibes and the right people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So
you
would be bringing those stuck up ass people. You know what I mean? With a stick up there,
bro.
I'm with the fucking barbecue.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't need that. Nah, I'm good.
All right, Johnny. Before we get out of here, you got anything else that you want to dump off your chest before we get out of here?
No, that was it, man. Had a nice weekend. Again, I'm gonna enjoy that football game tonight. You know, CC and the Fever are playing today, so I'm gonna enjoy some stuff later on. Gotta run to the store and do some housework and shit like that. But just enjoying the weekend. Again, you know, for most people have tomorrow off. If you don't, sorry that, you know what I'm saying, I've been there, you know what I'm saying, having to work holidays and shit like that. It sucks, but enjoy today if you can. And if you do have tomorrow off, enjoy the weekend. Be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. We saw what just happened with the Gordo family, that Johnny Gordo. You know what I'm saying? Like, please, you know what I'm saying? There's, you know, you can get rides now. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing my chain of thought right now, but there's the shit that, you know what I'm saying, that you can get a ride. What the hell is it called? Uber. You know, you can call it Uber
there's
now.
Too many options.
Yeah, there's too many options as opposed to driving drunk, man.
And you literally have it right here in your hand. You know what I mean? Like, you call a friend, text a friend. There would be somebody in your contact list, whether you say you can't pay for. First of all, if you went out and get drinking, you could pay for an Uber because you know what I mean.
You should be smart and have that money set aside for it anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're in that situation, call a friend, somebody, man. But now, you know what I'm saying, this family is destroyed now. He had young children. Like, it's just
lost his brother too.
Lost his brother too, and they were just out going on a little bike ride right before their sister's wedding. So like, like the whole family is just destroyed because you know what I'm saying homeboy couldn't.
I didn't know that was
couldn't
before their sister's wedding.
Yeah, dude, the day before their sister's wedding, yo. So
Damn.
their whole family the whole shit got blown. You know what I'm saying? Just because homeboy, you know what I'm saying, tried to get home after drinking. You know what I'm saying? No, don't do it, man. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Get an Uber, call a friend. You know, go to sleep in your fucking car. You know what I'm saying? In the back seat, because if you're in the front seat, you will get a ticket.
Yeah,
if you're in the front seat and you're drunk. But lay down in the back seat and take a nap. But you know what I'm saying? At the very least, you know what I'm saying? Call a friend or something like that. Walk your ass. You know what I'm saying? Right. But
yeah. You know what
just
I mean?
please do not drink and drive, man. Enjoy this weekend. Have your fun, but be safe, people.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. That's true. True that. All right, folks. This has been another great episode of the Bodkins Show, the weekly dump. So for my guy, Johnny Cruz, I'm Bodkins. We'll catch you next week again, 8 a.m., 9 Eastern, next Sunday morning. We'll look at some NFL. We got NFL season, baby.
Yeah, baby.
We'll keep doing what we're doing. So, hey, be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to hit that outro. Y'all have a good rest of the weekend.